Hello and happy December the 1st and welcome to my 4th hobby vlog. This is a shorter vlog than last week, you'll be happy to hear, as I've been coldified slightly this week, which I hope you're unhappy to hear, and so haven't got as much done as I would have expected to, as I've been recovering in bed during my hobby time. However, there is quite a lot of stuff in there. It's a fun one, I've enjoyed editing it down, and I hope that you enjoy watching it. So grab yourself a cup of tea, I think it's less than half an hour, maybe 26-27 minutes long, and enjoy. And I will see you once again at the end. After the covering of PVA and water, I left this to dry for about 2 days. So now it is very dry and it is ready for the next stage. Now what I'm going to do, I have quite a lot yet to do on this build, but what I'm going to do now is the first pass of some of the more 3D elements of the undergrowth and scatter. So I'm going to put some homemade bushes on, and I'm also going to use a static grass applicator to put some static grass around. Now this is probably not going to be the last time I do it on this. What I'm going to be focusing on is where I'm going to then have other items on top, so maybe more bricks or more rubble, and what I would like to have is underneath that some grass, so it looks like the rubble has fallen on top of pre-grown grass rather than it being all around the edges and not looking very natural. So I will get myself set up, I will show you what materials I'm going to use, and then I will get static grassing and flocking. First thing I'm going to do is apply static grass. Now there's lots and lots of static grass applicators on the market, but the one that I bought a long time ago, I believe I was one of the first ever to buy one of these, is the it's the World War Scenics manufacturer, and it's the Pro Grass applicator. Now this has worked really well for me so far. I actually did have a problem with it and contacted them, and they fixed it and sent it back to me for free, and that gets a big thumbs up. So when you get good service from a company, you're much more likely to purchase more of their stuff and recommend it to people. I have at the back here a variety of different static grasses. All of them are also purchased from World War Scenics. I have 6mm summer, I have 2mm spring, I have some 4mm patchy, which is what I'm going to use on this, and then I've just opened this. I've had it for a while but I've not put it used it yet, which is a very short hay, looks about 2 or 3mm maybe, so a short hay as well. So what I think I'm going to do is use the patchy and the hay, and then maybe some of the longer summer static as well, so we're building this up. I also do recommend, and I use their own glue, which I didn't get out. The reason I recommend this is it's very tacky, very fast, and it seems to do the actual static better than normal PVA. So I only use that for this process. So let's get started. So to begin with, I have put a handful of the patchy grass at 4mm, and it does clump. This again, I've had this for years. I bought it a long time ago, but it should still come out quite successfully. I'm using the smallest, finest sieve they gave me, and I do this in very small stages. First of all, we get the glue and we apply it where we want to apply it. So because you're watching, and this is going to be detailed, I'm going to do it around here, which is where I want to have some. Okay, now that I've got an area of glue, I will apply the static grass. Now the way I do this is, let me make sure that can focus, is I actually have a dressmaker's pin that is stuck in, and I have it clamped always in my little, in the crocodile clip on the end of the wire. And that's how I've done it all the time, and it works very well because it allows me just to touch it into the glue, turn on the static grass applicator, and do my thing. And there it is. The next step is my trusty handheld vac, and I will now vacuum up, and then I'll be able to recycle, because it will go into this clean vacuum cleaner, the static grass.
I tried to give you everything. I'm all that you made me. I wish that you would set me free.
And there you have it. So I will now empty this, and with that cycle done, I can do another one. I've done my first coat of the patchy static grass, and now I have put a bunch of the summer static grass in, and I'm going to do that while you're watching. I will do this speeded up just so that you can watch another technique for keeping clear. If you don't have one of those handy vacs, this will show you your options. Okay, so we'll say that that's done. So again, turn it upside down. Put this out of the way. And then what you do is you carefully pick it up, use the fold of the newspaper, and tip it back in your container. And now you've saved anything that was not securely glued, can now be reused. I'm going to carry on with this and turn the camera off again, and I'll come back when I'm finished. This has taken me a lot longer than I thought it would, as these things sometimes do, so I've got to stop now because we have other things to get on with today. However, I've done 3 colours, and you can see it makes quite a nice effect. And there's a lot more to go. This is only the first of the applications, so there's 3 colours, 3 different lengths, and it really is starting to take shape. But for now I'm going to have to call this, and hopefully I'll get back later on today to do some more work on this building. Welcome to my hobby bench. I'm getting back to doing my Sarissa 28mm Sarissa buildings, and so this is an introduction, by way of introduction, back to these for the vlog. This evening I'm going to be fitting the wood store and working on the pig store, the pig house, because I have received my my model pigs, and I'll probably be working on the roofs a bit, and also I'm going to pick a different building to try a different technique, which I had one running through my head, and we'll see if that works. I do a lot of experimentation, so yeah, this will be coming back onto my bench. I need to get it finished. I'd very much like to get it finished, so yeah, let's see how it goes. The next step on this Sarissa MDF building is to enable myself to fit the wood store, which, while I did measure it up when I tried this, actually has ended up not fitting correctly with the plastering that I did. So I'll be coming in with a file, cleaning this up, cleaning the lines down below where the building will fit, and finishing off the edge, the side of the wood, like that. So that's my next task. It's been a bit of a bitty evening, so I haven't put the camera on very much. I have finished off the woodshed and stained it with, I want to say orech, because it's Bulgarian for walnut, so I've stained it with walnut, and that will eventually have some chopped wood stacked in there, and then will be glued on the back. I've also cleaned up the area where that will be fitted, so just got a file out and filed down the gaps, and it fits perfectly now. And what am I going to do now, and I will invite you along for this one, is more of the orech, and I'm going to stain the wood. I've felt a bit uninspired this evening, and I think this will be a good way to finish up.
Each time the ride was so bad. Too much you made it. Please try to avoid your pain. Please try to save me. I have to free myself from you. I have to take it all from you. If I could hide in my own way, never escaping, would I believe in yesterday?
Hello there and welcome to my hobbying bench. The next step for the Sarissa MDF buildings involves roofs. Now for the other MDF building I did make my own roof using cardboard, actually literally cereal packet, and that worked quite well. But for these I wanted something a bit easier, a bit quicker. It takes some time when you're cutting those up, and so what I did is I put an order in again via Sarissa for their packets of cardboard pre-cut roofs. I've ordered it in 28mm and I've also got the packs which are the same shapes but in 20mm, which is going to be for the smaller buildings, clearly. Now my priority is 28mm, so that's what I'm working on now, and what I would like to do is show you how easy these are to use. I've got just one roof to work on right now, so I will adjust the camera down and we'll show you that. I will not do any more of the roofs on camera. It's a very repetitive process. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. So let's get that started. These packets come in a little plastic envelope, which is quite easy to get into, and each of the plastic packets has 2 sheets in it. I've already had a play around. I'm learning my lessons and practicing before filming. So what I have here is one of the roofs and some leftover shingles from the other pack, from the other sheet, and I've taken one out already. These are attached and easily removed with a sharp scalpel. They have little cardboard notches that's holding them in place. So as simple as that, and you extract them from the surround. You will need some PVA, some water to clean your brush, a brush, and that's it. A sharp scalpel is the only other tool that you'll need. So I will paint on at the bottom of this roof the PVA. I will then select one of these and stick it on. And what you'll want to be doing is making sure that it is straight, because no one wants wonky shingles. So that's how simple that is. Now we have a little bit of overlap. We have a little bit of an issue here because you can see that the roof is longer than we want it to be. So what I'll do now is with a pencil, I will mark where to cut and I'll cut that out. And this is one of the good things with it being cardboard. With a sharp scalpel you don't need to do anything but press and pull, and there it is. And now you have done your first row of shingles. Now making your own shingles isn't a huge issue. I may do a video on it in detail at some other time, but believe me, this is a hell of a lot quicker. Obviously it costs more. So there you have it. I can't think of anything else really to say at this stage on this process. It is very easy. I would recommend, if you have a MDF building like this, that you consider looking at some of these kits, or indeed make your own shingles. The real benefit is in how interesting your buildings will look. No one wants to have samey things on the table. Variety is the spice of life. So I'm going to carry on, finish this, and I will see you later on in this build. The next stage for this Sarissa MDF building, which is the one which I've done the wooden cladded little tower section, is to work on the tiles. So I've gathered together all the roofs, as you can see, because I'm also working on roofs. But I think next I'm going to do the courtyard. I'm going to paint it. I've got it sprayed black and masked off, so that makes a lot of sense for me. I also have some really good ideas for the walls, and I want to get to them, so I'm a little bit impatient to get this progressed. So I'll pull the camera down a little closer and let's see what we can do with these tiles. So this is a nice close-up overhead view. I hope that it works out. I have this light grey paint, which you'll have seen a few times. I use this for dry brushing on my stone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try not to ruin this, and you're watching this live. I'm going to use it to paint each stone, which may or may not work, which is not going to work. Now, I'm going to not even bother carrying on with this. What you'll remember is I made a mistake here. I stuck the cardboard down shiny side up. And what I'm finding is it's just too shiny to accept paint. So I'll keep this footage as a lesson, and I will think a little more as to what I'm going to do about this. I may end up deciding that it will be a very overgrown courtyard, that you can't really see the stones at all. So I'm going to stop this footage and have a little bit of an explore and play, and I'll come back when I've done some more investigation. Well, that wasn't a very long break. It's only been a couple of minutes. What I've discovered is that while a very wet brush causes a problem on these, if you do an almost over brushy, dry brushy type of technique, it goes on quite nicely. It leaves some stripes, but then I quite like that. It looks almost like it's got texture on the stone. So now I'm happier. I was a little unhappy before, I'm sure you could tell in my tone of voice. But now I think that what we've got here is certainly going to do good, and it's going to be good enough for this project, and it's been a learning experience for me as well. Be really careful that you do glue down shiny side down, or don't use shiny cardboard at all, as much as it's nice to recycle your old cereal boxes. It's not very nice to waste 20 quid on a building like this. It then doesn't work how you want it to. So I have done that. I'm relatively happy with how that's looking. I'm going to leave that to dry now. Step well away while you feel like you're ahead, and I will think about the next step on this build. The next step I'm going to take is going to be to use some of the Sarissa tiles to put onto the roof, which will go on this little wooden section, and also will be on one of the other flat roofs. And I'll probably use this same type of shingling for the other roofs as well, which are here and here. So I have everything to hand. I said it wouldn't be the last time that my memory card filled up, and so it happened. The fire is burning down, and I have made a good go. So I've run out now of these shingles. I have another order in, but they look really nice. You can see them there on the flat roofs, all done, ready to be painted up. I will now have to wait probably 2 weeks before I can carry on with this project, because I'll be waiting for Sarissa to deliver the extra roof packs. So something I've learned, you need far more of these than you think you do. So order many packs, because they don't go very far. They're not a very cheap option, but they look a lot better than my homemade one, which you can see here. It works very well for rough cut slates, but not so well for if you're trying to do something that looks like it's actually good quality build. So I will leave that there. I will go and empty my memory card. I'm shooting this on my phone. And I will see you on this build well, it may not be 2 weeks because there's other things I can get on with, but certainly the roofs will be delayed quite a long time, which is rather frustrating, but that's life. Hello and welcome to my spray painting area. I am about to do some painting with some spray cans, and as you see, safety first. Get yourself one of these if you don't have one already. That stuff, that aerosol stuff, is very, very nasty. So let's turn the camera around. Now I've given you the health and safety lesson. Point it at the bench and do some spraying. We're back to the Ruined Watchtower, and I have made a batch more of the bricks in the same way as I made them before, and this time I've spray painted them not on the miniature because it'll make it easier for me to not overspray. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to pile up some of them around this area here initially, and potentially on the other side around there, because the tower would not just have fallen inside the building, which I did previously, but it would also have fallen outside. And I do actually have some more to put on the inside as well. So you can watch me do that. I will go to speed up. I'll play some Pooky. I know that you must all love that song by now. I need to find something else to add to these videos. If anyone has any music that they've made themselves that they want to appear on the Beard Clipper, please let me know. Send me a message. That looks quite efficient and effective. It's quite a brutal methodology I've got here. I'm just slopping the glue on and not really thinking about it, but it will work. The glue will dry nice and solid. Maybe I'll have to do another covering. So let's move this round and start going around the front. Now I think here the bricks or the rocks would probably have fallen off the edge of the cliff, so we won't bother with that bit. What I will do is around here. That's enough for there. I want that to deliberately be sparse. I'm quite pleased with how the how the grasses are there, so I don't want to overwhelm that bit. So now what we'll do is we'll turn this round again, and you can see that we have the rubble inside. I will now build it up with the remainder. So that will do. I've deliberately not come very far forwards because I don't really want to take up much of the playing space inside. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to let that go off and we'll come back, and I think the next thing will possibly to have some greenery, to put a platform here so that people can, this window here becomes usable, and it's very close to finished. I'm really pleased with it so far. I hope that you're enjoying this build and liking to see how these sorts of things come together in my head and on my table. So thanks for watching again. I made these bases during that first vlog I did for Top Table Gaming, slicing them out of milk bottle tops. And the plan I have for these is to have them as scatter terrain for either 28mm or 20mm haystacks. So that's what these four are going to be used for. What I have here is some air dry clay, and I'm going to make, this is leftover from another project, rather than waste it, I'm going to make use of that to attempt to sculpt some haystacks. Now the interesting thing is with these is I'm going to do them in the style that we have here in Bulgaria. And that involves a stick down the middle, and I'll flash some pictures up if I remember to put them on. A stick down the middle, and then the hay is gathered around the stick, and sometimes it can even be a live tree which they will pile the hay around the sides. So let's get started. What I've done is I've got 2 matchsticks with no end and a couple of twigs just picked up, and I've got a stash of them over there. What I will do while you're watching is shape this spare air-dried clay around these and square the bottom off on the base. I will not be sticking it down, I will be drying the air-dried clay around the centre. So here goes. So there are 4 small, or 2 slightly larger, 2 slightly smaller, clay haystacks. These will now need to go off, obviously, and I will carry this on another time. As you saw, I was making use of leftover and ended up having to go and cut 2 extra blocks off. That's how it always works. You think you're just using up material and you end up having to get more out. So, there we are. Welcome to the end of my vlog, and well done for getting this far. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you have not yet subscribed to Beard Clipper, please do so, and don't forget to ding that bell. If you do that, then you'll be informed whenever I publish a video, and I am doing a fair number of videos on top of these vlogs that I scatter throughout the week. So, thanks for watching Beard Clipper, and I will see you in the next one.